Hi, I'm Sophia and I draw animals, and today we are drawing some more blue herons. I have a habit of indulging in black and white thinking. It isn't a great habit, but it's there. I convinced myself that I can't draw things more than once, which is ridiculous considering a lot of artists draw the same thing over and over and over again. It's how you find your style, it's how you find your process. I don't know why I think I can't do that. There's no rules. I have several blue heron sketches that I've already made in red. We're gonna transfer the piccolo litter onto a blue sketch page. Hi baby, my dog is here, he's saying hi. What's up? Okay. Don't lick my face. Don't lick my face. Anyway, what I was saying, we are transferring those red sketches, the chosen red sketches, and redrawing them in blue, not because it's the only pencil that has lead right now, but because it's on theme. The hope is to use these prints to set up a little sale thing for some limited edition prints and fund my future Epson printer. I want to print my own art prints. Incoming tariffs, terrifying in general. Things are already expensive as fuck, and that would just add another layer of expense that I can't really afford right now, considering that my printer is in Canada. So let's get into this process. I really want to release these because I think the sketches are pretty cool and I really want to see what I can do with some color. Not to be a faker, but I'm actually freezing right now. I just really wanted to show you my shirt and be on theme. This is also on theme technically, but it's not nearly as cool. So now off we go to the print designing section of this video. You're spinning me around, my feet are off the ground. Hello, it is voiceover time. Yes. Okay, so I'm hoping this goes well. I'm just showing you like what I did with the red sketches. It's a little bit messy and funky, but I just wanted to show you because there was a lot of scribbles and redoing behind this. I'm just going in and kind of like mapping out the big shapes. I did not use a actual bird reference for any of these drawings yet. I will do that in my final drafts, but I'm focusing on referencing at least the pose I had in my brain. You know, in the brain mind. So I'm just looking at the sticky note. That's what I'm referencing right now. My proportions come a little bit off. I tend to, I don't know if I'm just like looking at the drawing or something while I'm drawing and not looking at the actual page that I'm drawing, but the proportions came way off. Like the legs were way too big. You'll see I go back and fix those. And then I had to darken up the neck because I was starting to erase things I didn't need to erase. It was just, it was a little messy. And I just go in and I map out the wingspan. I'm not going to actually draw any proper wings because I can't do this without a reference, but I also don't have the time for that because it's very tedious and a little bit stressful. So now I'm mapping out the circle and I'm just going to darken it up after I draw some unnecessary sparkles that I just don't know why I keep doing that. I love sparkles, include them in a lot of my drawings, but I forgot that I would need to draw a bunch of sketches around the circle sketch. And like those take up too much room, so I'm gonna have to get rid of them. There's just zero planning, zero forethought, so there's a lot of backpedaling in this sketch page. But you know, you win some, you lose some. So now I've gone in and fixed the legs, kind of, and darkened the background just to kind of show where the focus is gonna be. Like the bird is much lighter for a majority of its color, so it's gonna be forward and much brighter because I want it to be the center of attention. The circle will be kind of like a centering quality of it, you know? So now I'm going in and drawing the rectangle one. I did wind up using this first sketch and the second sketch as the chosen ones, if you will. I really enjoyed getting to do the super long exaggerated neck. It was just like very twisty turny, and I honestly was very proud of how it came out considering I didn't use a reference for that one. And I just go in and map out where the feathers are going, where the colors are going, what the rectangle, the wonky rectangle is gonna look like, and then we're just getting things done, you know. And then I keep adding in more sparkles. You'll see me doing that. I'm gonna wind up having to erase a lot of them. I just have this idea of like shapes in the background, but I have a feeling it's gonna make it too busy, so I keep rewinding and taking that away. We'll see. I'm probably going to make some mock-ups digitally just to see how I feel about that because I like the idea of a star shape or a sparkle shape being somewhere in there, but I just don't think I have the room. And I think it might make it look too muddy and busy. So as I'm moving on to the next one, I realized that I want to do one without stars, number one, and number two. I need to do one facing the other direction because I tend to draw things facing the left, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that, but I did want a little bit of variety. Unfortunately, this one came out very, very stubby, and I immediately had to go in and fix the neck because it was way too short and thick at the top, so I adjusted the lines and made the neck more curving so it would make more sense with the space that I had already carved out, and just drew in some very, very minor funky details because they're not very accurate. So he looks a little bit wow, I have not used this word in ages, but derpy. For lack of a better word, I don't really know what else to describe that as. And now that there's some empty space peeking through, I start to get a little uncomfortable with it. So I'm filling in with one more little blue heron sketch. I think this one, I would probably make it into a sticker. I definitely want to change whatever shape is in the hand, whether it be a fish or some sort of sparkle or whatever. I have definitely seen some Pinterest drawings with birds with some sort of star in their eye or through the wing or through the beak. So I didn't want it to come off as like copying, even though I wasn't actively referencing. So I think I might change that design to make it more my own rather than super duper referenced. And yeah, I just don't want it to come off as like too overly referenced to the point of copying. And now I'm labeling it like you don't know what it is. Girl, I don't know what's going on. Now I'm taking more care with the blue pencil. Number one, because I don't have a lot of lead, but number two, because these are my final sketches before I move on to the big drawing. Well, second draft before the final sketches, I guess. So I'm mapping in shapes once more. Once again, not using an actual bird for reference. These are from my mind because I've seen this bird enough that I can kind of get the shapes out without having a picture in front of me. And I'm having way too much fun doing the large S shapes to make the neck. It's just really, really, really fun. And you get to play with the angle when you get to like play with how far you adhere to the line, the initial line that you make. It's very, very fun. The faces are obviously not proportionate. The eyes are a little bit off. I think it's because I don't quite know where like the brow bone situation goes. They don't really have brow bones, but you know, where the eyes lay. I don't quite know where that is yet without a reference, but I at least kind of have the shoulders and the neck down, you know? And I'm just going in and then scribbling up to kind of darken up some spaces that are going to have color. I eventually go in and start, I would say hatching, but it's a little bit, it's not uniform enough to be considered hatching in my opinion. But I go in and darken up the back just so that you can kind of see the heron drawing more, because it is pretty light in this light blue pencil. And I did add the star on this one. Well, I guess it's a sparkle, not a star. I wanted to see how I liked it. I liked the smaller sparkle for sure. I don't think a big one would be the move. But yeah, I am really, really enjoying this sketch. I think I definitely want to use that as a larger sticker, maybe like a 3x3 or a 4x4. I'm debating if I should do like a clear sticker and then have the star be clear, or have the background be clear, the star be a color, and the bird also be in color, you know? But I can also do mock-ups of that, do some polls and stuff, so I hope that you guys will offer up your opinions, because I have a lot of decisions to make, and I'm a little bit overwhelmed about that. Alright, we are finally down to the last second draft sketch, which is the circle. I go in, I make the S shape for the neck, I have fun lining it out, and then, well, kind of. I feel like I'm struggling during this one for some reason. It's coming off very, square? Like more square than usual. I did have to wind up widening the base of the neck just because I did it a little too skinny the first time. And I, of course, didn't learn my lesson, and I did the legs way too chunky again. Like, the base of the body is way too thick. It's like so much larger than it should be. I really wish that at times like this that I could like use my digital programs and just lasso it and just shrink it down, but I had to wind up going in and erasing multiple times the body and that second wing because I could not get the positioning correct and I could not get the legs correct. I eventually did. It was just mightily frustrating having to erode the paper over and over and over again because I did not have the patience to figure it out the first time. But it's okay, that's what sketches are for. It was just a hiccup in the road, and luckily I did wind up getting the positioning better because initially I had the body facing very forward when the bird is actually at a 45-ish degree angle from below, so it didn't make sense for the body to be that forward and like front facing. So I'm glad I did go back and fix that, because if this is a picture I use for my like sketch of the final drawing, it's gonna be, I want it to be as correct as possible. I don't want it to be bad. So I'm mapping out the feathers again because it's honestly just fun. It's not technically helpful to the sketch. I just really enjoy doing it. It starts to make it feel more alive in my opinion. And now I'm darkening up the background again, just so we can kind of see where the bird is gonna lay. I am bouncing between doing the background dark and lighter. For this drawing, I had an idea to do a very dark square and then have the circle be almost like a moon. So it'd be like a lighter goldeny color or a kind of grayish white color, and then have the bird be more of a bluish white with all the blue beautiful colors it has, and then have a dark deep navy blue as the background. I don't know if that's making sense the way I'm describing it, but just an inverted version of what the sketch is technically. But I don't know if I'm gonna do that because it might give up the focus on the blue heron in order to get the moon illusion. What am I saying? I'm saying random words, but I hope that makes sense. But I think I'm gonna stick with the dark background just because I really want the bird to pop. I really, really do. Alright, we are all done. Those are the sketches, and we are now going to move on. I might record the process of the actual drawings. Who knows? We will find out. Off we go. Hi, it's me again. Okay, so I'm going to show you the sketches. Hope you don't mind it being a shorter video today, and that we're not doing a finished drawing. We have some intense drawing we have to do this week, so I wanted to make sure I did get something out for you guys and that you kind of know what's going on. I plan to get these limited edition prints rolled out ASAP. A commenter on Instagram mentioned that the square rectangular design probably would do better as a sticker, and I was like, you're so right, because I completely forgot that was an option. So I'm thinking we do a square print 5x5 for the circle heron sketch, which is going to be a full-fledged design, obviously. And then for the rectangular design, we do a sticker. I'm excited to kind of get to work because there's a lot of intense drawing that's going to have to be done. So I'm probably just gonna put my head down and do things off camera, to be frank. If you have any suggestions for what you'd like to see from me, that's always great, because I definitely like hearing your guys' input on what content you're enjoying the most, but also where you're feeling represented the most. You know. All right, that's all I got for you. I don't actually have my water on me right now, so we're gonna use my AirPod case, but drink some water. Take care of your mind, take your meds, and I will see you in the next video where we draw some animals. What? 29? 29? Haley, who brought this guy?
You guys ready to let the dogs out?
Oh God. You're making me nervous. Don't look at me.
Well, nothing.
Haley, what is your deal? Okay, that's all I got. I don't remember what else I was supposed to say now. Okay, anyway, drink some water, take care of your mind, take your meds, and I will see you in the next video. We're gonna be actually drawing some animals, hopefully, maybe. I don't know. I don't make promises anymore because honestly, I don't even remember what the promises are. All right, goodbye.